To understand why airplanes run on kerosene, you first need to understand where it comes from. The process begins at an oil field, where crude oil is extracted from deep, underground reserves. Before anything else can happen, the raw crude oil has to be cleaned. Water, salt, and other impurities are stripped out, leaving behind pure crude oil ready for the next stage. That crude oil is not a single substance. It is a dense mixture of hundreds of different hydrocarbon molecules, all bound together and useless in that form. To separate them, refineries use a process called fractional distillation. The crude oil is heated until it vaporizes, and that vapor is fed into a tall distillation tower. As the vapor rises and gradually cools, each hydrocarbon condenses back into liquid at a different height, depending on its molecular weight. Kerosene condenses in the middle of the tower, typically between 150 and 275 degrees Celsius, separating cleanly from the diesel below it and the gasoline rising above. What comes off the tower at that point still isn't ready to fuel an aircraft. The raw kerosene goes through a further purification stage, where hydrogen is introduced to strip out sulfur compounds, that would otherwise corrode engine components. Additional additives are then blended in to enhance its stability, improve its performance at extreme temperatures, and bring it up to the strict standards required for aviation use. Now comes the more interesting question. With gasoline readily available and widely used, why do aircraft engineers specifically choose kerosene? The answer comes down to several properties that matter enormously at altitude, and that gasoline or any other fuel simply cannot match. The first is energy density. Kerosene contains more energy per litre than gasoline. On a long-haul flight, where every kilogram of fuel adds weight and every extra litre takes up space, that difference compounds significantly over thousands of miles. More energy per unit means more range for the same tank size. The second is flash point. Gasoline ignites at around -40 degrees Celsius, making it highly volatile and extremely dangerous in an environment surrounded by hot engines, electrical systems, and pressurized tanks. Kerosene's flash point sits at around 38 degrees Celsius, meaning it requires considerably more heat before it will ignite. In a crash, a fuel spill, or a fuel line fault, that difference can mean the gap between a fire that starts and one that doesn't. The third is behavior at altitude. At cruising altitude, outside temperatures can drop to -50 or even -60 degrees Celsius. Gasoline would begin to freeze or form wax. Kerosene, with a freezing point of -47 degrees, remains stable, flowing reliably through the fuel lines. Kerosene also has several other practical advantages worth noting. It is widely available around the world, straightforward to store and transport safely, less prone to combustion-related issues such as vapor lock or detonation, and compared to diesel, it burns more easily. So kerosene isn't chosen out of habit or convenience. It is denser in energy, far less likely to ignite accidentally, stable at extreme altitudes, and has a few other practical advantages, making it the only fuel that genuinely meets the demands of aviation. Click the video on your screen right now, and I'll explain another everyday mystery you've wondered about your whole life, but never thought to look up.